Yeah, Eric mentioned not to take it. Okay, I'm going to start over. Our last speaker tonight is Karen Simon. She is working on a speech project that helps her understand how emotions impact relationships. It is designed to help her identify how others' emotions impact her emotional state and how she reacts to it. As a longtime Toastmaster for several clubs, she's had many evaluations. She also asks for them from students who take her workshops. With her speech called Playing with Your Feedback, Karen will share some ways she uses her evaluations to progress in her journey to become a better speaker. The floor is yours, Karen.
Thank you, Nick. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, how well do you receive feedback? What do you do with the feedback after you receive it? I love Toastmasters evaluations. Usually, I can't wait to hear what my evaluator says. I want all of it, good, bad, and ugly. If you're like me, when I'm done with my speech, I have my own evaluation running through my head. I shoulda. And then if I just woulda, and maybe I coulda. Or sometimes I say, wow, I really killed that speech. For me, I pretty much know when I killed it and when I bombed. Then the evaluator takes the stage. Their evaluation could be very different from the one that's running through our heads. They tell us what they feel we did well, like Shauna said. And then they give us suggestions for improvement. Sometimes my own reaction is to take it personally. I take their points and I try to defend myself. What? They missed the point. Or sometimes I'll say, wait, I did do that. How did they not hear or see it? After the dust settles and I calm down, I go to the video. I put my evaluator hat on. Sometimes I see what they saw or heard. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I disagree. But I always go to the helpful hints that they give. After all, each audience member sees and hears something different, just like Eric said. What we need to understand when we're listening to these evaluations is that oral evaluations, even the written ones, they're only from one person. As Shauna said, it's an opinion. Did the other people say the same thing in my written evaluations? If they all pointed out the same thing, did anybody suggest what I could have done that would help? No. Like Eric said, if you put your name at the bottom of that evaluation form, then as the speaker, I want to prudently reach out and ask for advice or ask for clarification. Get clarification from the source. Did somebody like something? What exactly did I do that they liked? Like Shauna said, now she does humorous speeches because somebody told her she was funny. Did somebody think that I could do something better? How? By doing what exactly? Find out. Call people, email them. Once I'm clear about my improvements or suggestions, I make it a goal to play with some of those suggestions in my very next speech, actually. I always, when I'm constructing a current speech, I always refer to my previous evaluations and pick up on some of those improvement hints. I also reach out to people who do things well that I don't. For new members, you might not know who to approach, so ask your mentor. Ask them for a suggestion on who you could approach. So I had a mentor when I came to this group. His name was Ian. He's no longer with us. But I talked to Ian about my dependence on notes. He told me that I could take my written out speech, convert them into bullet points on index cards. Yikes, that seemed really scary to me. But if we're supposed to flub in the club, then go for it. And I did. I tell my next evaluator that in addition to the goals of my current project, like I'm working on a current project right now as I'm speaking to you, I'm also trying to use those index cards and hope that I don't fall on my face. Why do I tell them that though? Because maybe this current evaluator has some pointers too that I might try. Does that make sense? I also get information, like Shauna said in her speech, I also get information from listening to people evaluating others that might even have the same issues as I do. I take notes when evaluators are up there. I say, oh, that was a good tip, you know? Fellow Toastmasters, your fellow members are your resources. It'd be prudent for you to rely on them, seek advice from them, lean on them. The more tips you have, the more things you can try, right? This way, you can find a technique that works for you. Think about this. The goal at these meetings is not to create a perfect speech every time, just like Nick said about sports. The goal of a Toastmasters speech is to try something new. It's to test it out, experiment with it, and play with it in front of a live audience. It's how you will get to see what works, what you do that would be comfortable for you, and what doesn't work. Mr. Toastmaster.